Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating guest. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Well, hey, how you doing? My name's Alan Katz, and I'm in Southern California, Long Beach precisely, and I marry people for a living. It's a job that I never thought that I would have, but for the last 20 years, it's what I've been doing every single day of my life. If you would have asked me 20 years ago, would I be doing this long, I would have said absolutely not. But I found my niche in life. 20 years ago, a friend of mine was getting married, and he needed somebody to perform the ceremony. Now, he knew that I'm the actor of all of our friends, so he asked me to do it. And at the end of the ceremony, everybody came up to me and go, "Oh my God, that was the best ceremony I've ever seen. You need to quit your job and do this for a living." So you know what? I listened. For the first time, I listened to my friends. And I basically put all my other jobs on the side and decided to concentrate on doing weddings full time. Started off slow, not knowing what else was going to happen. But I started getting bigger and bigger and bolder. And all of a sudden, I started getting people wanting me all the time. So I had to bring other people on, and then more people on, and more people on, to the point where now I have 37 officiants who work for me. I have a wedding chapel, which you see in my background. We do beach weddings, ceremonies on the beach. And we do weddings at locations like golf courses, backyards, ballrooms, wherever people are getting married. That's where they're going to do it. Today, I was on the top of a skyscraper in downtown Los Angeles, overlooking the backdrop of the city. Yesterday, I was on the beach with the waves lapping the pier columns at the Huntington Beach Pier. So every day I get to be someplace else doing something different. What I learned a long time ago is people want something different in their wedding. They're tired of that same old wedding that they've been to. Do you take her to be your wife? And just a really boring dude up there. Where I've decided that I was going to take that wedding and turn it into something fun and romantic. So that couples can walk away from the ceremony going, that was awesome. So their guests don't have to sit there and endure the ceremony. They are able to enjoy the ceremony. And that's kind of what I've brought into it. I've learned how to take a couple's story and bring it to life within a ceremony. Basically, all ceremonies have the same thing: the vows, the I do's, the rings, and the kiss. Everything else is the fluff. My job is to make sure that fluff is awesome. And the way I do that is I learn about my couples, and with my entertainment background, I'm able to gauge the audience or the guests and be able to put together a ceremony that's going to be exciting for them, amazing for the couple, and everybody's going to walk away going, that was awesome, now let's party, instead of thank God that's over, I need a beer. So I've learned a lot of things along the way, and I've been using all the things that I've learned along the way and not just keeping it for myself, but I pass it on to people in the industry. One thing that I've learned, and I'm actually the best at this, I'm called the master of reviews, or the king of reviews, is I've learned how to get 5-star reviews. And I have over 4,000 online reviews, which is more than anybody in my industry has for any venue or a fishing company or DJ or anything like that, because I learned how to get reviews. I think one of the most important things to getting reviews is asking for it. But before that, you have to do a good job. So I perform every ceremony like I have Yelp sitting there in the back corner, and they're sitting there ready to review me. So I want to make sure that everything I do is great. Then I can ask for the review. The other thing I teach people about is publicity, is getting your name out there. The old saying is you can build a better mousetrap, but if nobody knows that you have it, and nobody's going to get it, nobody's going to buy it. So what I've taught people is how to do publicity, how to do advertising, how to do promotion, get their business to a level where my business is, not in my neighborhood, but in other areas. And so it's really important for me as a professional to give back to my community, to give back to the business community of what I do. I've had the luck of being able to be very successful. I've had the ability to be able to bring couples together. I've had the ability to meet the most amazing woman, my wife, at a wedding. And it's actually a good story. I wasn't supposed to do this wedding. Their officiant canceled last minute. She wasn't supposed to be at the wedding. Her best friend just broke up with her boyfriend and asked her an hour before, come, you're going with me to this wedding. So the two of us converged on this day, and it was a great day. I saw her, she saw me, and we instantly fell in love. I did a selfie with her. I texted it to her. She texted back, and the rest is history. We've been married for a few years now, and we've just have an amazing life together. And she works side by side with me, and so it's great. And of course, I work very hard, but I also like to have a lot of fun. So on a local TV show called The Prank Panel with Johnny Knoxville, I pranked her in a crazy wedding prank, where she found out that she was marrying a brother and sister. And then people are catching on fire and all sorts of fun things happen. So me and my wife have a great time. In fact, on my website, on our As Seen on TV page, you can see that and some of the other TV shows that I've been on. It's so much fun. And I've learned something from doing all this. It's not just being good, it's being the best. Is taking what you have and not just being satisfied with status quo, but taking it to the next level. And I think any business that just doesn't sit around and can take it to the next level is going to be exceptional. I learned one thing many years ago from a sales trainer. I don't remember who it was, but it's like when you're done for the day, make one more call, and that one more call will be successful. And I always do that. And for some reason, that next call brings out something great. I have so much fun with what I do. And when I do this, and when I walk down the aisle and I see all the amazing guests just looking up to me, waiting for me to open my mouth. And when I open my mouth and I see the smiles on their face and the laughter coming from their lips, I know that I'm doing a good job. I have a history of doing stand-up, so I understand how to work a crowd. And it's been wonderful. And the team that I have amassed in this time period has been fantastic, because I've learned when I've met with all these people that they all have something special. I have priests, rabbis, ministers, Spanish speakers, Chinese speakers, Vietnamese, Japanese, Tagalog. I'm hopefully getting a Korean officiant very soon. And we've tried to hit every part of the market niche. Our newest market niche that we're doing now is we're doing the cruise ship weddings, where we actually go onto the cruise ship before they leave port and marry the couple while they're in port. So then they can go off and have their wonderful adventure together. So I've tried to learn every possible way of getting somebody married and enveloping that. When we do our beach weddings, we talk to our couples, we find out what kind of beach they want, what location, and then we get that started. We find the beach, we get the permits, the insurance, we set up the arch and the chairs and decorate it. And we have people show up on the beach, and it's just beautiful. Our beaches here in Southern California are great. Probably like they are where you are in Australia, but we have some wonderful beaches where there's rocky coves, or there's wide open beaches, where there's overlooks overlooking the bays and the harbors. And we make that happen every day. The other places where we marry people are in our wedding chapel. And our wedding chapel is really nice and easy, because I get in that wedding chapel, people come in, all creeds, all colors, all types, gay, straight, old, young. Every type of person walks into that chapel. Every day we're doing weddings. Some day one wedding, some days we have 15 weddings. Valentine's Day, we're booked from early morning till the evening because we're doing a special for $14 weddings. Now, you probably think, wow, why would you do a special for $14? It's promotion. It's what we call a loss leader. I've been successful the whole year. One day is not going to make or break me with a day full of weddings. While everybody else is charging, so much to do a wedding, why not have $14? But what does it get? It gets the news media here. I sent out a press release on it, and 2 TV stations, 2 radio stations promoted it, and I booked up my whole day. And then on Valentine's Day, they're going to be here at my wedding chapel, and they're going to be doing live feeds from the wedding chapel. You can't get better advertising than that. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. And it's fun.
Wow. Alan, listening to you speak, it doesn't sound like this is work for you. It sounds like play.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that you found a vocation where you actually love to do what you do and you can do it every single day.
Well, they say if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life.
That is so true. That is so true. So you emphasize on creating fun and romantic ceremonies. Can you share an example of a particularly unique or memorable ceremony that you officiated?
Oh gosh, there are so many, but I think one of the ones that always stands out in my mind was this one couple. They had to cancel their wedding because he had a brain tumor. And so a year later, when he was feeling better, we all threw him and her a wedding. And when we did this wedding, she loved Elvis, he loved Star Wars, and so we did a wedding. I was Elvis Kenobi.
Oh, wow. That is incredible. So you really infuse fun in everything that you do.
Absolutely. And, every couple has a different story.
Yes.
Every couple wants to do something different in their ceremony. They don't want the same old da-da-da-da-da. So I find what's creative in each couple's persona.
So it's highly personalized.
Yes. And that's what it's about. And I don't charge. There's people who charge twice what I charge. But I love doing this so much. It's not always about making the top dollar, because I would rather do 5 weddings in a day than 1 at a higher price. Yeah. So I do quantity and quality, and I can get them both done. I can do 5 weddings, go from place to place to place to place, and I'll have the same energy from wedding 1 to wedding 2 to wedding 3 to wedding 5. The most I ever did in one day was 22 weddings.
What?
22
Are you
weddings.
Serious?
I don't know how. And when I was done with the 22, I wanted to do more.
Oh my gosh. So you actually get energized by the work that you do.
Oh, absolutely. I love what I do. I never thought, I'm an actor. That's my heart and soul. So for me, I got to do 22 shows in one day. How many actors can do that? I look at all my actor friends and see them struggling in the actor business and in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
And then I look at me and I get to perform every day. And one of the things, I'm a cancer survivor. So a little less than 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And it changed my life. I never thought that cancer would change your life, but it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Mm-hmm. Because what it did is it made me realize that I want to make a mark in this world. That I want to make something, I want to make my life mean something. For however many years I have, I want everything I do to make something better for other people.
I love that. That's the thing about having a health challenge. It wakes you up to life. Mm-hmm. It makes you realize how brief this life is, and you have to make the most of it.
And now I'm going to be in people's videos forever. I'm going to be in photo albums forever. 20, 30, 40 years from now, I'll be in grandma and grandpa's photo album. Yes. That's when they got married. This is the crazy guy who married us. And through that, I'm going to live on. My legacy will always be there instead of just dying as somebody who works in an office all day. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not me. I want to make a lasting impression on this world, and I want to do it one laugh at a time.
So, in your experience, how do you ensure inclusivity in ceremonies, especially for diverse cultural traditions and LGBTQ plus couples?
It's easy. You ask questions. When I have an
Mm.
LGBT, in fact, we did the first LGBTQ wedding, the legal wedding in California. We were doing them way before. I've been always very inclusive of all couples. In fact, I have a trans son. So I knew back in the day that I always had to be inclusive with the community
Yeah.
because I understood what it's about. And so
Wow.
when I have a couple, whether it be LGBT or a trans couple or even an older young couple, I find out what makes them tick. A
Yes.
couple is a couple, whether they're a guy, whether they're a girl, whether they're old, whether they're young, but they each have a reason why they're with that other person.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
find out what that is. And I exploit it. Not exploit it, but I exploit the emotions. So I get to
Behind
learn
it.
about them. And I get to bring that emotion and tell their story. That's the cool thing. When I can do a ceremony and I can tell people a story about this couple that maybe not everybody knew, and they walk away
Yes.
from the ceremony knowing something a little extra about this couple, then I've done my job.
The job is done. That is just fascinating. And just listening to you speak, I can hear that you are a diehard romantic.
Yes.
This is something that is in your DNA. Where did that come from? Did you come from a very loving family, or you didn't?
Actually, kind of
This
the
came.
opposite. My mom was very loving. My dad was a person who told me I'll never succeed at anything, that I'll never be good at everything. No matter what I did, I became the top of every profession I was in. I won every top award. And I would come to him and I would say, hey, aren't you proud of me? It's like, well, did you make any money off of it? So I never got that. So in a way, I thank him for it. Because if he wouldn't have believed in me, I would have never strove to be successful the way I am now. Because I wanted to prove him wrong every minute of every day, that I am worthy, that I'm going to be the best that there is, that I'm going to win every award, that I'm going to make people realize that I am the GOAT. Okay? My wife
Oh,
calls me the GOAT. Greatest of all time.
I
Right?
love it. So,
So,
what are
so
some of the challenges that you faced as a wedding officiant, and how have you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge as a business owner is trusting people, is trusting my team that they're going to do the job right. Because, when we do 2,000 weddings a year, I got to make sure that they're all good. And I've
Yes.
had people do terrible jobs in the past, and I've had people do amazing jobs. And
Right.
it's just being able to know the biggest challenge I have is to be able to stay within those bounds of making sure that everything is perfect and to
Yes.
cut my losses when I need to cut my losses. And never trust a business partner.
And
Never,
so,
never, never, never have a business partner because
okay.
something will always go wrong. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you cope during COVID? How did you manage with, being forced to work remotely?
well, what was great during COVID is I have an outdoor wedding chapel and we have
Right.
a double doors in our front door. So we were the only place in town who was able to basically issue the marriage license and do the weddings all in basically an outdoor situation. So
Okay.
we actually had our busiest year during the first and second year of COVID. It
It
was
seems like you were prepared for it.
Yeah, because we already had an elopement company ready, so we could
Okay.
do weddings, elopements at our chapel, elopements on the beach, where it was outdoors, where it was safe, and I already had that infrastructure
Yes.
ready to go.
Oh,
And
wow.
so what I've tried to find is when I see things coming. I see things coming ahead. I didn't see COVID coming. But like
Right.
when same-sex marriage became legal, I was way ahead of the game. I already had, the chops to do this. When weed became legal in California, I started a weed wedding business called Joint Vows. And and it's for people who are
Love
weed
it.
enthusiasts who want to get married. I found a way to find every single niche and fill it beforehand. Not just become the after guy. I'm the guy who comes up with the idea beforehand,
Yeah.
and everybody
Oh.
follows me.
So, with a team that speaks various languages and understands different cultural rituals, How do you prepare and train your officiants for bilingual or multicultural ceremonies?
First off, I train them the Allen way. All right. I have them come with me to weddings and show them how a wedding isn't and translating into another language. It's bringing passion into the words. One of the things I tell my people who work for me, it's not the words you say, it's the pause between them. It's the enunciation of each word. I could stand up there and go, "We're gathered here today to celebrate one of life's greatest moments." Or, "We're gathered here today to celebrate one of life's greatest moments."
Yes.
There's a difference in the way it's said. So
Yeah.
I tell them, think of each sentence that you're saying. Highlight the words that need enunciation. Put a slash where there needs to be a pause. And those pauses are just as important as the words before them and after them.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love it. So, are there any specific wedding rituals or traditions that you find particularly beautiful or meaningful?
I'm a big fan of themed weddings. Okay. Last week I was Dumbledore from Harry Potter. And I do this one cool one with either Harry Potter weddings or with Star Wars weddings, is I do this cool thing called a potion ceremony, where they mix 2 jars of liquid into this tree trunk, and then I fill it with dry ice. And when they pour it in there, I go, "If your love is true, when you pour your essence in here, smoke will arise." And then they pour it in, and it billows smoke. And you just hear people go, "Ooh." So it's silly stuff like that, stuff that people know. Unity ceremonies are amazing because they don't have to be unity candles. You see that at let's light the unity candle. Well, outdoors they don't work. So you do unity sand, or I've done unity peanut butter and jelly. I've done unity gin and tonic. I've done unity beers where you pour a dark and a light beer together. I did a unity pizza once. This couple loved pizza. So during the ceremony, they made a pizza as their unity ceremony. They had the crust, they poured sauce, they put cheese, they put toppings on it. And then the chef came, took it from them in the middle of the ceremony, threw it in the oven. "I now pronounce you husband and wife." At the end, they walked out, pizza was ready, they ate their pizza. That was how they celebrated the end of their ceremony.
That's amazing. So, what advice do you give to couples to make their ceremony as memorable and personal as possible?
I say telling their story, not just doing the same old thing that everybody does at their wedding, is make it unique, make it them. If you guys are into something special, let's bring that out. Let's tell that story. If you're boring, okay, well, do it boring. But if that's who you are, then we can do it boring. But if you have something that's pizzazz, something that steps out, some part of your relationship that was amazing, maybe your proposal was fantastic, we'll tell that story. Either they'll tell it or I'll tell it.
Yes.
And then customly writing their vows, if they want to write their vows, is telling their story in the vows. Vows aren't supposed to be, "I promise to love you, I promise to care for you, I promise to live with you." Everybody has said that at every freaking wedding since the dawn of time. What people really want to hear is their story. So I tell my couples to break their vows up into 3 parts: how they met, their life together, and how they see their future. That's the story they know, and that's the story their guests want to know.
Yes. That is beautiful. So, how do you see the future of wedding ceremonies evolving, especially in terms of personalization and inclusivity?
I think the most important thing not to do, and this is what is going to ruin the wedding industry, is having friends and family perform the ceremony.
Right.
Now, it may seem, "Oh, it's great, I'm going to have my friend do it, he knows me really well." But unfortunately, that friend doesn't know how to use a microphone properly, doesn't know when to tell people to stand or sit. I know my second wedding, people stood the entire wedding.
Oh,
I didn't know to tell them to sit down. I didn't know how to work with the other vendors. So I think the future of weddings is for people to move away from their friends and family doing it and realize the benefits of a professional. I always tell people, would you want somebody who's never owned a brush to be your hairstylist on your wedding day? Would you want somebody who doesn't know how to run an iPad or an iPod to be your DJ? Would you want somebody who's allergic to flowers to be your florist?
No.
Right? You wouldn't want any of that. So why have somebody up there at the most important part that has no clue of what they're doing? They may know you, they may know you well, they may be a good speaker, but I'd say 7 times out of 10, they're going to suck and they're going to ruin the day. A perfect example, I had this couple and I was asking, why did you choose this venue over the other venue that you were going to choose?
Yes.
She goes, the other venue I went to, wedding at that venue, and their friend did the wedding, and it was such a bad experience that every time I walked into that venue, all I could think was this guy just ruining the whole wedding, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. So I chose the other place.
Okay.
This other venue lost, a $50,000 wedding because they let somebody who was a non-professional do the job.
Yeah.
So that's where I think weddings is.
Sorry. Okay, so could you share one of the most touching or surprising moments you've experienced during a wedding ceremony?
I think one of the most surprising elements that I ever had in a wedding ceremony is when I was marrying this couple and they had a little boy. And the little boy, he was her stepson. And he walks up to her during the ceremony, just interrupts the ceremony, and he was sitting in the seats, walks up to her and he goes, "I love my new mommy." And he gives her the biggest, I lost it. Okay. Everybody in the audience lost it. And it's one of those moments. It's, kids say the darndest things. It was the most loving, genuine thing. And I lost it.
Oh,
and
how beautiful.
I cried at a wedding the other day. It was for an LGBTQ. It was for 2 ladies. One who I knew who was a DJ. And I was reading as part of the ceremony, the decision that the Supreme Court made, making it legal for same-sex marriages to happen.
Yes.
And I was thinking, and at the end of it, I'm looking at these two. It still gets me. And because of those words that Supreme Court justice said, that this wedding was possible, that these 2 people got the honor and respect that they got. And I started crying. They started crying. All the guests started crying. And I'm never nervous at weddings. But this wedding, I was the most nervous because I knew these people and I knew half the audience, and I knew if I messed it up, that it would be a terrible look for me.
Yes.
But I lost.
That's crazy. So I'm going to end with a video I want to share with you. This is a business that I'm launching this year. I work with Afrocentric weddings. I design Afrocentric wedding gowns and the makeup. And I wanted to share this with the community so that if I send you some clients who come your way to California for their wedding, you and I can partner in some way.
Absolutely. Oh, I love those outfits. Wow. Wow. Wow, that was amazing. I love the painting on the skin. I love the dresses. I love everything about that video. So
Thank you, thank you, thank
wow.
you.
It
So this is my second wedding, and I had such a good response from family, from friends in terms of what I did with it. And now I'm launching my own bridal line. I'm helping women with the makeup. So let's stay in touch in case you ever have any Afrocentric guests who want an unusual wedding dress. That's what I'm working on at the moment.
right. Do you do men and women's outfits or just
Both
women's?
men and women's outfits, correct.
Okay, I need to order an Afrocentric outfit for me. All right, I need a good one.
Okay,
So we need to talk.
fantastic. So we need to talk. Alan, it was absolutely wonderful catching up with you. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
doing this with us. You know, I believe in love. My little wedding venture is called Second Chances. It's for those people who are taking a second stab at life and in search of love. And I can see that you and I are kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to these things. So thank you for being such an inspiration today. I know
Thank
a lot
you.
of people look for destination wedding places to come to. Now I've got you as a marriage officiant in the United States. I will definitely be passing some of my guests and my clients on to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to connecting with you and doing business.
I just want to say thank you to our guests for tuning in today. The Her Story Circle is bringing you some phenomenal people from all walks of life, bringing joy and happiness and inspiration. So tune in again tomorrow when I introduce another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. Thanks again, Alan.
Cheers.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.